The event which occurs before the fertilization is called as what? Yes, after? Okay, what happens is during this process there will be several hormonal changes, right? Hormonal and behavior changes. So, we will be seeing about this now. Okay, this is a mature flower. It is a modified shoot rising from the axis of a small leaf-like structure is a flower, and there contains of 4 holes, 2 upper holes and 2 lower holes. Okay, what are upper holes? I mean, which are the upper holes? That is androecium and gynoecium. And whereas the lower, it is calyx and corolla. Androecium and gynoecium, nothing but the what? What are they? Yeah, they are the reproductive, very essential reproductive. Organs. Not organs. How come organs comes? Reproductive holes. Okay. Okay, where is corolla located? I mean calyx. It is the outermost protective layer, calyx. And whereas corolla, it is the inner layer. And this which is androecium and which is gynoecium? Which is androecium? That one, right? Okay, gynoecium is divided into what? Like what are the parts in gynoecium?
3 parts.
What are they? Stigma, style and ovary. And where is this here?
Stamen.
Anther
and filament.
Yes. Okay. Now let us see the pre-fertilization structures and events. And in a flower, that androecium, as you all said, it is a male reproductive part, and whereas gynoecium, it is a
Female reproductive.
yeah, they differentiate and develop and fuse to form a
Gamete.
yes, correct, zygote. Okay. Now let us see development of a male gamete. What does a male gamete comprises of? I mean the male androecium.
Anther, filament.
Yeah, anther and yes, and this is the structure of a stamen. See, anther is in the top, and whereas the filament, it is a thin, long elongated structure. It is a male reproductive unit of anther, I mean androecium, angiosperm, and it consists of 2 parts as you all said, and the long slender stalk called the filament, and the anther, it is a terminal, bilobe structure called as this. Okay, now let us see the structure of anther. Which is anther here? Okay, it is male or female?
Anther. Male.
Yeah, correct. Okay. Okay, this one, and this is a cross section of the anther, and the top it is the comprises with pollen grains, and this is the pollen sac, and this is the filament. And we will be seeing about the structure of microsporangium. Microsporangium consists of 4 layers. Okay, tell me what are the layers without seeing.
Endosperm, middle layer. Then tapetum.
Yeah, okay, what is a tapetum? What does a tapetum do?
Protection and nourishment of the pollen.
Yes, correct. Okay, what happens when the anther is young? In the young stage, a group of compactly arranged homogeneous cells are called as sporangious tissues will be developed there when the plant is young. Okay, what is the tissue called?
Sporangious tissue.
Which occupies the center of each microsporangium, this one. Okay, they will occupy that place because when the plant is young. Okay. Now let us see about microsporangias. What is microsporangias? Okay, what happens in that? What is that? What is the process called? I mean, there's a process called as microsporangias. What they do in that? What happens? Which develops into a pollen grain?
Pollen mother cell.
The formation of a microspore from the pollen mother cell is called as microsporangias, and the process through meiosis. Okay. Okay. First it becomes a diploid nucleus. In the presence of meiosis 1, it is formed into 2 nucleus are formed, and then it is haploid, that is 4, and last it is 4, that is tetrad. And after tetrad, what happens? There will be a formation of the male gamete. The tetrad and the outer layer is called as callus, which undergoes some division, and see many are formed with a branches outside, and that leads to a vacuole. And with what is PMI? PMI? What is PM? I mean PM.
Premature.
Not premature. Pollen? Pollen correct sollu. Pollen mitosis 1. சரியா PM1 na pollen mitosis 1. That cell division occurs one degenerative cell and vegetative cell. இதில வந்து vegetative cell it is a larger cell and this generative cell it is small. Okay, what is the function of vegetative nucleus here? That is vegetative cell.
That gives food.
That gives what it gives?
Food.
And where is this one?
Generative cell.
Generative என்ன தரும்?
It floats in the cytoplasm.
Yeah, it flows. Yes, it's correct. No any specific function, but whereas for this vegetative cell function. And அப்புறம் வந்து what happens in pollen mitosis 2, they are divided into two mature pollen. One is mature pollen and with sperm cells, and which leads to a pollen tube. Yeah, same like that. That's all. This is the formation of male gamete. So it contains two cells. One is vegetative and another is
Generative.
which is larger
Vegetative.
and which is don't have a regular shape.
Vegetative.
Generative.
Generative shape. Not have a shape. Vegetative.
Different shape. Yeah, vegetative. Yeah, correct. Okay. Next we'll see the development of a female gametophyte. The previous we saw male. Okay, female, what happens here? The pistil, which is pistil here? The whole thing. Yeah, correct. Represents the female part of the flower. It contains one pistil, or if it contains one pistil or carpel is called as monocarpellary. If it is two, it is bicarpellary. Three means tri, many means what? Multicarpellary. Yeah, and the pistil may be syncarpous. What is syncarpous? Without seeing the slide. Okay, what is syncarpous? Pathriya, sollu.
More than one pistils fused.
Yeah, when there is more than one pistil means it is syncarpous. Like example vandu paparvarum and solanum. And whereas many maybe apocarpous na
Many.
carpels remain free. That is called as apocarpous. And as in which plant? Michelia. Okay, and then as a typical pistil consists of a hollow basal swollen ovary. Which is ovary? That down part is the ovary, and then an elongated style, that is style, and a stigma, terminal stigma, the top of that, and in which a placenta is located. Megasporangia rises from the placenta, and this is a megasporangium. Okay. This is a structure of a megasporangium, which it contains a funicle. It is the straight layer is called as funicle or funiculus, and then a helium, which is the outer layer of the megasporangium, and the down which leads funicle leads to a rape, and then a chalazal is the top end. Top area is called as chalazal, and the nucleus is present, and the antipodal cells, which is near the
Nucleus.
yes, and down is the embryo sac part, and this is the outer integument and inner integument, and this is the micropylar end. Okay, next slide we will be seeing the types of ovules. Okay, the first type is atropous. Atrop is nothing but when the funicle it is straight. See, it is straight. Okay, and where is and this is the atropous, and like next is what? Yes, anatropous when the ovule is completely inverted. Like give some examples. Example நான் கேக்குறேன். 80% of angiosperms are inverted, have inverted ovules only. And the next type is amphitropous. What எங்கன ஆயிடுச்சு? இங்க எப்படி இருக்கும்? No, cyclic illa. It is a horseshoe shaped. Horse shape. Okay, horseshoe shaped. Okay, another is hemianthotropous na idhula da enadhu 90-degree angle la irukum, and this campylotropous silently half circle, full circle, slight full circle illa, slightly it is circle. Okay, it's half illa 90% வச்சுக்கலாம், 70-75%. அது வந்து half circle. And what is this last one? Cricreotropous.
The funicule is fully covered.
ஃபனிக்கலா ஃபுல்லா கவர் ஆயிருக்கு. அதுதான் அதுல வந்து என்னது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒன் என்னது ஃபனிக்கல் எப்படி இருக்கு? ஃபனிக்கலும் தான், ஃபனிக்கலும் ஸ்ட்ரெயிட்டா இருக்கும் அதுல. ஓகே ஓகே. அண்ட் தென் இது வந்து செகண்ட் வந்து ஆண்ட்ரோட்ரோபஸ் வந்து என்னது? ஓகே. அண்ட் நெக்ஸ்ட் ஆம்பிட்ரோபஸ் ஷூ, ஹார்ஸ் ஷூ ஷேப். அப்புறம் ஹெமினா 90 டிகிரி. அண்ட் தென் கேம்பிலோட்ரோபஸ்னா
Almost 97% circle.
circle, yeah. And this one?
The funicule is fully covered.
Yes. Okay, give some examples for amphitropus. Horseshoe shaped எதுல இருக்கு? Lemna. Okay, the plant called lemna. And then where is the hemianthropus example I want? Ranunculus. Okay, example. And then campylotropus example? Legumes. And then last one example? Opentia. Okay. Okay. Now let us see about the megasporangenesis. What is megasporangenesis?
Formation of
Ovule. Okay. Ovule. Okay. A formation of a megaspore from the megaspore mother cell is called as, the process is called as megasporangenesis. Okay, let us see what happens. First one, the megaspore mother cell is present inside the ovule, and what happens in the presence of meiosis, the megaspores are divided into 4, and later what happens, the 4 la vandu 3 vandu degenerated, only 1 is left. Again mitosis it goes and 4 is formed, 4 nucleus is formed, 4 megaspores are formed, and then again it undergoes mitosis, and then it becomes a 8 nucleate embryo sac, and then which leads to an antipodals, which we saw in the previous slides. This is antipodals. In the top of that, which is there? What is there? What is that?
nucleus.
This is nucleus. This is antipodals. Idukku mele in the area.
Integuments. New cells.
Chalacils. Chalacils. Okay. And this is egg cells. In the middle on the nuclei, and synergids. Idarga synergids, and which leads to a embryo sac and a placenta. Okay, that is before megasporangenesis, and this is after megasporangenesis. Okay, and next we are going to see is embryo sac. What is embryo sac? Embryo sac.
That contains the embryo.
Okay. The female gamete is also called as embryo sac. In angiosperm, it mostly develops as a 7-celled and a 8 nucleate structure. We saw side, this is 8 nucleate structure. See, 8 nucleate embryo sac. Okay. And the 3 cells of chalacil. See, chalacil head on the top, and 2 synergid cells down, and then 1 egg mostly, and the middle it is polar nuclei, and the end is what? Micropylar end. Okay, next is pollination. What is pollination?
The transfer of male gamete. The transfer of anther to stigma.
Okay, anther of the stigma, or anther of the stamen to the stigma of
Ovary.
pistil. Okay, is called as pollination. Okay, now let us see, based upon the sources of pollen grains, pollination is classified into what? 2. That is self pollination and cross pollination. What happens in self pollination?
Same flowers pollinate.
Yeah, that is both the male and the female are present in the same plant, whereas in cross pollination what happens? Pollination different flowers of different plants, and then that is divided into autogamy and genitogamy. That is, this happens in same flower, but here it is same plant but different flower, and that another one is allogamy. What is allogamy then? Allogamy.
ஒரே flower தான், ஆனா வந்து pollen மட்டும் தனியா
புரியல சொல்ல திருப்பி.
same flower.
சேம் ஃப்ளவரா? சரி சேம் ஃப்ளவர் சொல்லு. ஆலோகே இல்லை, ஒரு பிளான்ட்டோட ஸ்டிக்மா இன்னொரு பிளான்ட்டோட போலன் இல்லை, என்ன வரும் ஸ்டிக்மாக்கு அப்புறம் என்ன வரும்? ஆந்தர். அதுதான் ஆலோகேமி. சரி ஓகே. And there are also different methods to prevent self pollination. Self pollination-னால என்னென்னலாம் ஆகும்? எதுக்கு அந்த எதுக்கு prevention method இருக்கு for self pollination? Tell some reasons.
Same flower-னா variations இருக்காது.
Okay. அவங்க வந்து இப்போ செல்ஃப் பாலினேஷன்ல இருக்கனால they lead to inbreeding depression-க்கு they'll suffer it seems. Okay, so to avoid such conditions they have developed some methods to prevent it, and there are 3 types. The first one is digamy. Digamy la enna pannum, antherum stigmaவும் they don't mature at the same time but they mature at different times. And இப்போ வந்து first வந்து androecium வந்து mature ஆச்சா it is called as protandry, and when the gynoecium repens first na it is protogeny. Okay, and the next is heterostyle. இங்கே heterostyle என்ன இருக்குன்னா, இப்போ ஒரு செல்ஃப் பாலினேஷன் நடந்துச்சுன்னா ஸ்டிக்மாவும் ஆந்தரும் சேம் ஹைட்டில் சேம் இதில் இருப்பாங்க. பட் ஹியர் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா 2 டைப்ஸ். த்ரம் ஐடுனா ஆந்தர் வந்து ஹையில் இருக்கும், இல்லை ஸ்டிக்மா வந்து லோவில் இருக்கும். அண்ட் அதர் இஸ் ஸ்பின் ஐடுனா that is stigma is high and the anther is low. Okay, and the next is incompatibility. What they do is they spray some chemicals. அது என்ன எதுக்கு? To what? To prevent the germination of the own pollen. So these are the methods. Okay, now let us see about pollination agents. Pollination agents of 2 types. One is abiotic and biotic. Abiotic na examples? Yes, examples.
Wind, water, air.
Yes, okay, and here biotic means it is birds, insects, bat, etc. Okay, now let us see the adaptation for the wind pollination. Wind pollination na wind enna, what is the role of wind in pollination? First வந்து அந்த மாதிரி type of flowers எப்படி இருப்பாங்க, plant எப்படி இருப்பாங்கன்னா they are very small and without any bright colors, bright petals they will not be. ஏன்னா வந்து they don't want to attract insects attract பண்றதுக்கு மட்டும் தான் அவங்க வந்து bright இருக்கணும். இங்க வந்து attractலாம் வேண்டாம், windே தான எடுத்துட்டு போகுது. So there won't be any impressive colors also, and the petals are often absent for better exposure. So petals இருந்தா கொஞ்சம் heavy-ஆ இருக்கும், right? So they are absent mostly. No nectar and no scent, and the male flowers are arranged in a catkins, that is in clusters only they are arranged, and they move freely in the wind. இப்போ ஒண்ணா இருந்தா ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருக்கும். So if they are in group they can easily travel, and they have a long thin filaments hang outside the flower easily shaken. So உடனே ஒரு காத்து அடிச்சுனே they have to fall. அந்த மாதிரி தான் they are designed, and anthers are very large and well exposed to catch the wind. And then these pollen grains are small, that is which is non-sticky and light and easily carried out by the wind. And the stigmas are very long and feather-like, a large surface area and outside the flower of the top trap pollen. This is the structure of a plant for wind pollination. Okay, and next is adaptation for water pollination. Actually it is very common, this type of pollination is very common on lower plants, okay, like algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, etc. And here flowers are small and they are colorless and also nectarless. They are colorless, odorless and nectarless. What they do, example in Vacciniaria, the female flowers reach the surface of the surface of the water by a long stack, you know, these are the long stack. Okay, they reach the flower and then they reach the water by the long stalk, and the male pollen grains are released on the surface of the water. So what they do is they are carried passively by the water currents. In the male enna pannum, they release what?
Release their anther.
Release their
Anther. They release their stamen.
Release their pollen grains. சரி, they release their pollen grains. And the pollen grains என்ன பண்ணும், water medium வச்சுட்டு they migrate to the flower. Okay, female flower correct மேலே erect ஆயிருக்குல்ல வாட்டருக்கு மேலே. And in plants like sea grasses what happens வந்து இது வந்து எந்த plantல வந்து Vacciniaria, and Valicineria. But in a plants like sea grasses என்ன பண்ணுனா female வந்து submerged இருப்பாங்க, உள்ளேயே இருப்பாங்க, and the pollen grains are released inside the water itself. In such species, pollen grains are very long and ribbon like and carried passively inside the water to reach the stigma for active pollination. Okay, உள்ளேயே நடக்கும், சில இதுல வந்து வெளிய மேல நடக்கும். Okay, and the next one is adaptation for insect pollination. இது என்னது? Okay, what are the criteria for the plant? எப்படி இருப்பாங்க இவங்கெல்லாம்?
Bright color.
Bright, yeah, nectar, scent, color, ரொம்ப கலரா இருப்பாங்க. ஏன் இதனால எதுக்கு?
To attract the insects.
Yes, to attract the insects. And the nectar வந்து எதுக்கு இந்த nectar இருக்காங்க? It is a source for food for the yes, is a deep within the flower. The nectar is deep within the flower, and they have a stiff anthers and the stigmas are position where insects must brush and pass them. அவங்க உடனே உடைஞ்சிர கூடாது இல்ல, நல்லா அந்த stiffness இருக்கணும். And then they very colorless, very colorful and bright to attract the insects, and there are large sticky pollen grains become attached to the insect's body. Okay, insect pollination is also known as entomophily. Okay, entomophily. Okay, and the next is what we gonna see is pollen pistil interaction. What happens here is the events from the deposition of the pollen on the stigma till the entry of the pollen tube into the ovule are collectively known as pollen pistil interaction. இங்கேந்து மேலிருந்து pollen tube வர வரைக்கும் that process ovule reach ஆகுற வரைக்கும் that process is called as what?
Pollen pistil.
Yeah, and then recognition of compatible pollen. What என்ன நடக்கும் இந்த இடத்துல? Correct. அவங்க recognize பண்ணுவாங்க இது ஓகே நம்ம accept பண்ணிக்கலாமா வேண்டாமா அப்படினு. So the pistil has an ability to recognize and accept the right compatible pollen of the same species or to reject that are incompatible either of the same species or the other species. அவங்க same species கூட accept பண்ணுவாங்க இல்ல reject கூட பண்ணுவாங்க, but அதே தான் vice versa, other species கூட accept or they'll reject according to them. And after the recognition of the correct pollen, okay pollen அவங்க recognize பண்ணிட்டாங்க, வேற என்ன நடக்கும் அடுத்து? ஓகே அவங்களுக்கு ஓகே ரைட் அப்படி உள்ள இன்னும் போகும் pollen type இன்னும் போகும். The pistil promotes post pollination events that lead to fertilization. And the next is a growth of a pollen tube. After அவங்க select ஆயிட்ட பிறகு என்னது the pollen grain germinates on the stigma to produce a pollen tube through one of the germ spores. And the last is the entry of the pollen tube into the ovules. This is the last stage. என்ன நடக்கும் இங்க the pollen tube வந்து ஸ்ட்ரைட்டா வந்து எங்க போய்டுவாங்க ovules, either through the by which end by micropylar end or through chalaza. Okay, where is chalaza present?
Top layer.
Yeah,
Nucleus
இல்ல antipodal க்கு மேல. Okay, antipodal க்கு மேல. Okay, but where is micropylar எங்க இருக்கு? எங்க இருக்கு micropylar? கீழ. chalaza வந்து மேல என்ன micropylar வந்து கீழ. Okay. Okay, now let us see about artificial hybridization. What is artificial hybridization? What is that? Artificial number select பண்றது man made, like whichever desirable character of plant we want we'll be selecting it. That is, it is a process in which the only desired pollen grains are used for pollination and fertilization. During artificial hybridization only desired pollen grains are introduced, like whichever we wanted, and this helps the unwanted pollen rejection and saves time. And that is of two types. One is emasculation, other is bagging method. Emasculation என்ன நடக்கும்? First the anther வந்து cut பண்ணிடுவாங்க. They'll remove the anther from the bud before its diastasis using the pair of four steps. They'll cut it. Another step is bagging. Once when the flower is emasculated, what is that emasculated? Nothing but the removal of anther. The emasculated flower is covered with a bag suitable of size, generally made of butter paper. And the edata mattum they'll cover with butter paper, so it may prevent contamination of stigma by unwanted pollen grains. Okay, 2 steps. Okay, what is double fertilization? ஓகே பாலினேஷன் புரியல pollination சரி ஓகே double fertilization who invented double fertilization okay it was Navashin in 1898 Navashin NAWASHIN in 1898 okay what happens in double fertilization is the pollination occurs, that is transfer of pollen from stigma to anther anther to stigma, and the pollen tube forms into a stigma and produces two sperms. For two sperms they produce oru sperm enna pannuna they fuse with the egg to form a zygote. Innoru sperm vandu enna panna they used as a they use for food for developing the embryo. So this is called as double fertilization. Okay, two sperms are produced, one fuses with the egg and another one is helpful for the food, for the developing of the embryo. That is nothing but the double fertilization. In many plants the endosperm disappears and the cotyledon become the food source. When there is no double fertilization cotyledon becomes the food source. Okay, see endosperm nucleus and the two sperm is produced, zygote vandu 2 and the egg plus, that is the egg plus sperm. Okay, down when it's fused. Okay, and the next we will see the post fertilization events. Okay, what is post fertilization? After fertilization. Okay, what are the events in post fertilization? Endosperm,
embryo,
development of endosperm, right? First வந்து endosperm வந்து develop ஆகும், அப்புறம் embryo and maturation of ovules into seeds and what ovary into fruit. Okay, now let us see about primary endosperm. Okay, like primary endosperm வந்து எப்படி endosperm மாறுதுன்னு. First one, the primary endosperm nucleus is present, that is one, and which is divided into two, that is the chalacal chamber and the micropylar, opposite ends, right? Micropylar and chalacal end, and which forms a free nucleus. There will be so many nucleus formed, and also a cell formation that leads to the endosperm, which is covered by cell formation, and inside that is there are free nucleus. So this is the structure of an endosperm. Okay, or endosperm develop ஆயிட்டு வேற என்ன அப்புறம் ஆகணும் in post fertilization? Yes, okay, the next is development of the embryo in plants. Okay, first one, what is that? Zygote. Okay, how would zygote is formed?
fusion of male and
Yes, okay. After that is two cells are produced, one is terminal and the basal, and what happens is that basal cell is transferred into suspensor with two, and then two cells embryo are produced, and then lead to elongation process நடந்துட்ட பிறகு the suspensor becomes big and the embryos of four cells, and next stage is glomerular stage, which அப்படியே அது பெருசாயிடும், that they will multiply and become big, and the next is heart shaped. Yes, why it's called heart shaped? Because heart stage, because in heart stage heart shape, and this is called as hypophysis, and which last stage is called as torpedo stage. Adula vandu they have a root meristem, cotyledon, yes. Okay, what is cotyledons then? Seed? Seed என்ன seed சொல்லு. சரி, அப்படின்னா என்ன மோனோ காட்டிலிடன்ஸ்னா என்னது? சரி, 1 2 ஓகே.
மூணு காட்டிலனா சீட் வந்து பெருசா ரெண்டா வராது, டை காட்டிலனா பெருசா ரெண்டா வரும், அத உடைச்சாங்க.
காட்டிலிடன்ஸ்னா என்ன சொல்லு? டெலிவிஷனா?
காட்டிலிடன் division of seed.
Seed leaf within the embryo of a seed.
Seed leaf?
seed leaf within the embryo of a seed. Within the embryo of a seed. Okay. Now let us see about monocot and dicot embryo. Shariya? Monocot it is a rudimentary stage of the monocot. But here it is also a rudimentary stage develop agum, and it consists of one cotyledons, di it is 2, and the single monocot cotyledon occurs as a terminal position, and and occurs laterally and pumil occurs distally, and this envelope of the pumil is called as coleoptile, and it is the pumil does not have any envelope, and coleorrhiza is a protective sheath of the monocot radicle, but here embryo it is a that does not have any coleorrhiza, and cotyledons resemble the true leaves, but here it is does not resemble any true leaves. Okay, this is example of monocot and dicot embryos. Okay, now let us see the development of a seed. Okay, how does a seed develop?
Develops from the embryo.
Develops from the?
Develops from the ovule.
Yes, ovule, transformation of ovule leads to the seed, and these seeds are formed into what? Seeds are formed into?
Fruit.
Yes, fruit. Okay, and this is the structure of the monocot and the dicot. In dicot it is. Okay, now let us compare what all differences in that. This has pedicel and this also has pedicel, but it is where the pedicel it is down and here it is on the top. Yeah, okay, and the bud is present in the next to pedicel, and here it is above pedicel. Here it is below and here it is above, and then radicle it is present in the middle, but here is no, radicle is also present in the down part, and the seed ring, the seed is covered by a seed ring, and here it is covered by a cortex with fetus. Okay, and then it has a cotyledon, and here it is only dicot. How many cotyledons it will be?
2 cotyledons.
Mono?
One cotyledon.
Yeah. Okay. Now let us see about the difference between monocot and dicots. These are single cotyledons, we know they are double and they have a long narrow leaf with parallel veins. But here their leaves are very broad and network of veins, but here it is parallel veins. Parallel means how? Parallel na?
Coconut leaf.
Yeah, correct. And here it is network na? Network of veins na?
So many veins.
Yeah, so many veins. And they have the vascular bundles are scattered here. It is in a ring form. And the floral parts of in flowers are multiples of 3. It is multiples of 4 and 5. Okay, what are the advantages of seeds? Tell me the advantages.
Food, medicine.
Yeah, and they are the basis of our agriculture, first and the most point. And the next one, they are used as?
The medicine.
Yeah, and then? Seeds are the product of what? Sexual reproduction. Okay? And then? Seeds are very adaptive for the dispersal to form new plant colonies. Okay, they are the base, right? Without seeds, they cannot produce into another. Yeah. Okay. Now let us see about seed dispersal. What is a seed dispersal? It is a transfer of seeds away from which? Away from what? Away from the plant. Okay. Yeah, away from the parent plant, and this allows the seed to spread in a larger geographical area. This is called seed dispersal. What the significance means? If they are not dispersed, many germinating seeds will grow close to the parent plant only if they don't travel or they don't move from places to place. And this results in the competition like what? In light, water, soil, food, everything there will be a competition even with the parent plant itself. And these plants are very important to grow, and the plants are these plants are important for growth. These are important for the plants to grow, so the plants will be affected if they don't get any of this. Next, let us see about a formation of a fruit, and these are the parts of the fruit. Okay, tell me the layers of the fruit. How many parts?
How many layers?
Yes, layers. Yeah.
3 layers.
Yes, what are they? Epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. This comprises known as pericarp. Okay, it is formed after the fertilization, as we all know, as a result of cell division and the differentiation in the ovaries. Okay, and that is the ripened ovary forms a fruit. The wall of the ovary develops into a fruit wall called as pericarp, all of these, and which may have fleshy. Fleshy means it is example like guava and tomato, but whereas in hard means, I mean, it is maybe leathery or dry in pea. Yeah, it is having 3 layers, that is epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. Pericarp protects the seeds and in their dispersal. Yeah, the pericarp, right? This is the pericarp, comprises with this. What is that? Epicarp, mesocarp. So உங்களோட இது என்ன ஃபங்க்ஷன் என்ன? Seed. Yeah, okay. Okay, significance of fruit formation. Fruits and fruit என்ன ஆகும்? Like how they help? Importance, okay, importance of fruits.
They protect the embryo.
Embryo na? Seed dana? Yes, from mechanical injury. So the fruits protect them, and then fleshy fruits provide food to animals and also as well as humans, and they also provide nutrition to own developing seedlings and also consumed by humans. Avangalukkum they will provide some nutrients. Okay, now let us see classification of fruits based on the formation. First one is true fruit, false and parthenocarpy fruit. Yeah, true fruit na enadhu? Ovary develops into the fruit without any non-carpillary part. Example, tomato and mango. Whereas in false means addition of the ovary, the non-capillary part like thalamus, these are involved to develop into a fruit. And what parthenocarpy, you people know that?
Development of fruit
Without?
the act of fertilization.
Yeah, that is example banana. Okay, there are some special mechanisms of reproduction also, that is apomixis. What is that means? It refers to the occurrence of a asexual reproductive process in the place of normal sexual process involving reduction, division and fertilization. In a normal asexual process நடக்க வேண்டிய இடத்துல வந்து I mean process normal sexual நடக்க processல வந்து asexual process நடக்கும் involving the reduction, division and also fertilization. Apoptosis can be best described as a reference to the asexual process. And next is polyembryony. What is polyembryony? Embryony, sorry. What is that poly?
Embryos are formed.
Yes, occurrence more than one embryo in the seed. In gymnosperms or polyembryo can occur due to the cleavage of the growing embryo. வளரும்போது இப்படி பிரிஞ்சு வளர்ந்துட்டுனா cleavage ஓட வளர்ந்துட்டுனா it is called as polyembryony. And next is parthenocarpy. You people know, right?
Several kinds of seedless fruit.
Yes, and it's of 2 types. One is vegetative, another is stimulative. Vegetative na the seedless fruits can develop even without the stimulation of the pollination. Example, pear. And whereas stimulative one, the stimulus pollination is required without actual process of example.
Grapes.
Yes. Okay, thank you.